class. It makes for a balanced and interesting picture. The principle behind the rule of thirds is to imagine breaking an image down into thirds, just like on your layout, horizontally and vertically, so you have 9 equal parts, like so. As you take a picture, keep in your mind the rule of thirds. Consider placing points of interest in as you frame your image. The lines are useful to position elements in your photo. If you place points of interest in the intersection or along those lines, your photo becomes more balanced that it will enable the viewer of your image to interact with it more naturally. Studies show that when viewing images, people's eyes usually go towards one of the intersection points naturally rather than the center of the shot. Using the rule of thirds works with this natural way of viewing an image rather than working against it. So, pictures here. In the top picture, the toddler, my daughter, her head is on one of the intersecting points, especially her eyes, which are a natural point of focus for a picture. Her hands are also along the lines, and the hand with the rubber duck is also near one of the intersecting points. So if you vision those rule of thirds, you can see where that lines up. In the bottom picture, my husband and her again, Sadie, they're along a whole line, that far right line, which means they are off-center, and that just creates an additional point of interest when you look at a photo. The horizon behind them is also positioned along one of the horizontal lines. Positioning horizons along horizontal lines is great for landscape photos. Ask yourself the following when you take the picture. What are the points of interest in the shot? Where are you intentionally placing them? And lastly, you may not always line up your photos along the rule of thirds guideline. So when you edit your photos later on, crop and reframe your images so they fit within the rules. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Rules are meant to be broken, so once you have learned the rule of thirds, purposely break it and see what you can discover. And that applies to your layouts as well, and definitely in photography. Working the lines in your photography. When considering the composition of an image, look for the lines. Lines can be found in images that are very powerful elements that with a little practice can add a dynamic impact to a photograph in terms of mood as well as what it leads a viewer to your photo. Think about these 3 types of lines: horizontal, vertical, and diagonal. Each one has a different image when you frame your shot. These are in Maui. Horizontal lines convey a message of stability and rest. Horizons, fallen trees, oceans, sleeping people all have something about them that talks about permanency and timelessness or rest. Horizons are the most common horizontal line to be found in photographs. It anchors to the rest of the image around them. Horizontal lines can lead to a photo feeling static or dull, so add other shapes to the landscape, like mountains, trees, buildings. Horizons should not be placed in the middle of the frame. Place them in the upper or lower third of your frame. So can you see where the water is in those pictures? And where they place along the imaginary lines? Vertical lines convey a variety of different moods, ranging from power and strength, think of skyscrapers, to growth, such as trees. Vertical lines can emphasize height. Keep an eye out for vertical lines so they are